Yeah, guys, welcome back to the new stream. Hello, everyone. Kind of like didn't stream for I think 4 days right now. I think I've been skipping quite a long time right now. Not been active. Yeah, but we are back again. Still on the calculator app we are still building. The Flutter calculator app. So we kind of like had a lot, so we have to do on the app. So we'll be trying to see what we can do today. But let me kind of like give you guys show you guys what we'll be doing today at least, because I did some stuff on the side. Basically that was on the desktop part, but today we'll be kind of moving it over to both the mobile and maybe on the web too. So but I will show you guys what that looks like on the desktop. So on desktop, which is actually this showing up here, so basically the last time we actually had the opportunity to actually complete the dark mode theme. So the dark mode theme, you guys have already seen that. So yeah, but today we'll be working on the game plans, adding the games, and also rounding the numbers, because the last time we had a bug, but I kind of like noticed it, but I just left it because it's not that much of a big issue. But I fixed it, so I'll be showing you guys how to do that. So if you could remember, so I'll actually show you guys that. So let's say we trying to add two integers. So let's say 78 plus 78, and when you hit the equal to sign, this should actually show us 156 and not 156.0. So that was the error, the bug we kind of like had the last time. So this should not be rounding to decimal. Basically should be rounding to integer, because we are adding two integer numbers. But so like I said, I fixed it. I'll be showing you guys how to do that. So over here on the desktop, so let's say we add two integer numbers. So when you hit the equal to sign, you basically have the answer also in integer type and not on decimal type or double type. So that's one of the stuff we'll be fixing. Another one we'll be working on will basically the game plan. So I also added the game. So over here you can actually see when you tap on that, then you have games you can actually play. So basically the way the games work is ask you a question. Let's say we have 8 times 8, that should be 64. Once you get it, they'll actually tell you that you got it and tell you the maybe the number of seconds it took you to get the question right, and once you fail, it actually show you the red color telling you that you failed the game or something like that. So that's basically how the game works, and you can stop the game by tapping on this. Then that will stop the game. If you want to start the game again, just tap on this. It will show you this welcome sign, and then you start asking you questions, maybe a few seconds. Check we got it. Yeah, so what's the area of a square? That should 8 times 8. So we are not fast enough, so we failed that particular question. So also, what's the area of a rectangle? Just have to type it in and just get the answer right and actually cross check that. So that basically the whole point of the game there. But we'll be improving this. You can actually see that it looks like the game is quite fast, so we need to reduce it to maybe increase the time it takes to actually disappear. And also, yeah, I think that was what we'll be working on. But this is basically what we'll be doing today. Like I said, it's basically the game plan, showing how to play the games and all those stuff. Yeah, so let's get started. So over here in main calculator, which is basically for the mobile version. So like we have been doing basically on other streams, the stream that we do, which is we did, which is the 2.0. We basically created different files for different screens or platforms. So that's called adaptive UI or adaptive application using Flutter. So basically the adaptive means when you are viewing the app on different platforms, instead of takes different shape and not responsive. For basically responsive kind of like works with the one particular UI layout, and then on different screen it kind of like resizes itself to fit that particular screen. But what we are using here is the adaptive method, whereby we have different platform take different shapes. So basically on web, you see the web actually looks different, and on desktop we have a different UI for desktop. So that's called adaptive. Let's go ahead and start with rounding this up. So like I said, this should, when you add two integers, when you're working with two integers value, you should actually get your answer in integer form. So that's what we'll be working on right now. So let's do this. So over here on our mobile, I'm gonna copy the code over the code that helps us to do this. No need to actually start this from the beginning. So over here we have this calculate. So the calculate, we are going to change the whole stuff. Instead of returning double for each calculation, we are going to return a num type. So Flutter has another data type called num, which you kind of like, if you don't take a like look quite deep on the documentation, you won't find the num type. Kind of, I don't know why they don't expose that, but there's another type called num type. So we are going to be using that. Where is that? The function. Oh yeah, basically this is it. I'm going to copy this over and we're going to replace this. And right now, if you actually look at our code base, it's kind of like quite messy at the moment, but we are going to fix this. Maybe if we have the time today, we're going to fix it, or in the next stream we'll just work on basically fixing the whole code base to use provider for state management. So the whole platform will just use utilize each state and everything through one particular state management that we're going to create using provider. So over here I'm going to paste this code, and once we paste the code, I'm going to go ahead and save this. So did I do? Yeah, basically save this. Like I said, we're going to replace this one, so basically delete this. We don't need it anymore. So if you go ahead and save this, say call it calculate, so there's no need of calling it calculate too, because we deleted it, not the previous one. So right now we are returning a num type. Let's see where this is actually used in our app, the calculate function. Okay, looks like this is used in several places. Nope. Let's minimize this. Okay, so we used it not here, not here. Yeah, so we use it on when the user clicks on equal to sign. So when the user taps on equal to sign, that's basically the place we used it. So let's see this, and you're going to see that there's an issue right now. So this is actually showing us an error that this num type is not the same type with the type we have here. This is actually a double, so we need to go ahead and fix this to actually be a num type. The type of that calculated value should be num type and not a double. So num type is basically a union of int and a double. So the number can be a double or the number can be an integer. So go ahead and save this. Restart your app. Looks like we have another issue. Let's see. Okay, basically this is still running on desktop, so I'm going to close this, stop it from running on desktop. Just focus on running this on mobile. So I'm going to say run without debugging. Oh, still going to run on desktop. So yeah, so let's change this to actually run on mobile. No, this still web. Yeah, iPhone 13. So go ahead and run this. Let's give it some time to actually finish. Okay, there we go. So we have the app showing up. Yeah. So right now let's try this. So we have an integer value to add. So 7 plus 7 should, okay, this is still showing us a double. So this is not what we actually want to see here. Okay, so we are returning a num type, which can be a double, an integer, we are using this calculate. We are calling this calculate function in here. So when the user types on this, we are calling calculate, and we are passing. Okay, we have an issue. So over here we are passing a double to this, so we shouldn't be passing the double. So that's the issue that we're having right now. So just pass the test calculate to it. So I'm going to say num dot pass. So it has a pass function. Okay, that's an issue. So I'm going to change this instead of double, change that to num. So that will be num dot pass. So that will kind of help us to pass the numbers depending on the type, and not kind of like strictly passing it based on the type we just think it should be. But this will work as we expect. So if you go ahead and test this again, so this is 7 plus 7 should give us 14, and that's cool because right now we're no longer rounding this to decimal point of decimal places. We are just kind of like showing the user the actual data type that we are calculating on. And if you kind of move forward and try, let's say 4 minus 2 using the minus sign, they still have the same data type. If you go ahead and try 4 multiplied by 4, still the same data type, and say 4 divided by 2, still give you, yeah. So the reason, because 4 divided by 2, they should actually give us an 8 value and not a decimal, right? Yeah. I can actually cross check on math because I'm pretty sure that should give us a decimal. Yeah, that should give us a an int value and not a decimal. So we have something to fix there. So let's try looking into that. Yeah. So let's see why we are getting 2.0. So I have num1, num2. So when it's division, so num1 divided by num2. Let's bring this out first. Say num1 divided by num2. Make conditional. Then close this, cap this off to close. So I'm gonna save this, clear this, and try this again. 4 divided by 2 should be equal to still showing us 2.0. This is showing us 4 and 2. Interesting. Split num1 into num2. Okay, let's try again. 4 divided by 2. Okay, 4 divided by 2. So just rounding it up to 2.0. Let's try 8 divided by 2. 4.0. I think this might be from Flutter itself and not basically from our calculation, I guess. Share this. Something that pass. Okay, yeah, that won't work because we already passed it already to none. And okay, so let's see why this is actually not rounding up the way we want. try this on Mac OS, so Mac desktop, and without debugging. Okay, that's like giving us 2.0. Interesting. Okay, so I think we actually need to look into that later, but let's kind of continue to what we are doing. I'm going to look into that later on. Nothing comes to my mind at the moment on how to fix that, so let's go ahead and continue with this. So right now we're able to actually get this to actually work on the same data type. So let's say we are adding 7.0 plus 7.0. Okay, get this to. Yeah, so let's say we have 7.0 plus 7.0. That should give us 14.0. That worked because the data type is in decimal, which is a double, so it's kind of giving us the answer in double, which is understandable. I could say 7.2 divided by 2.0. That should give us 4.1. Yeah, because that's also we are doing the whole calculation in double type, which is decimal, and the answer is being returned in decimal too. So that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think that's it for this section. So we are able to actually get this to actually get our value, which has an answer to print in the data type that the calculation was done by from the user. So that's the first issue we wanted to change. And the next one we are going to do is basically this issue. So the issue is basically when you tap on this 7 times 7 times 7, this keep on adding signs at the back. Understand? When you tap on the equal to sign, it's going to pick the first two and kind of like leave out the last two, and basically tell us that the answer is 49. But we already know that 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 into 4 will not give us 49. Basically 7 times 7 will give us 49. So that's another issue that we need to fix here. So one way to fix that, we are still going to copy. I'm sure you guys have one way to actually fix that, which I'm going to copy the code from this section. Now I'm trying to actually be fast with what we are doing, so as not to waste time. So this is the code that's going to help us to do that. So it's called summarize. This is the function. I'm gonna need to copy this out. So summarize. Like I said, our code base is kind of a bit messy at the moment. We needed ways to make this to actually look dry and look good. So that means we don't need to be having this function in all the same files littered everywhere. We need to create a kind of like a house, so that house all this calculation. So like kind of like calculation brain, it's going to be a class. So every file or every platform will be using that particular class or something like that. Yeah, without having the whole code littered everywhere, repeating the same code, basically repeating the same code on different places. Yeah, so over here I'm going to copy this code over here, paste it. Yeah, do the pasting. So what happened? Okay, yeah, so do the pasting. But I'm going to remove this section, it's no longer needed, and I'm going to need to add this variable called sign counts. I think that should be somewhere up here, sign counts. So we need to add a variable at the top. As you can see, they're actually repeating the same code everywhere. So like I said, we need to fix this, but for now we are not looking into that. So we just want to finish what we have here, what we're kind of like trying to do today, and then that would be what we finish up later on. So we added a variable that's needed, so the variable shows up here. So the next step we actually need to add, so we already have some rights to set states, and yeah, so these are what we have at the moment. So let's see where this is actually being used, where we need to use it. So over here, paste this to search places that we actually called that function from. Same, so we called the function in two places, one being before we called add. Okay, so I'm going to copy this, else copy that, and let's see other place we added it. So basically the main place we define the function, and go over here, and we already know where we need to add that, which being this point in time. So we need to delete this, and this is going to have a nested if statement. So let's go ahead and test this out. Yeah, for those of you who are asking if I'm going to publish the whole code to GitHub, yes, I will definitely publish that for free on GitHub, so that you guys will actually play around with it. So yeah, so we added these feature right. Basically what we are doing right, I'm going to explain this by when we actually try this and see how this works. Then I'm going to explain what we are doing. So if you tap on 7 times 7, right, and if you go ahead and tap on this again, you see this will round this up to 49, and then kind of like shows up another multiplication sign at the back, but it's rounding it up in decimal place, in double, but that's not what we need. We need to round it up in the number type that is actually being displayed there. So we have this calculate function. We need to pass in num, use num.pass, and also do the same right here, num.pass. And if you go ahead and restart this, so let's go ahead and do again, 7 times 7. So if you tap on this again, nice, so you see how it's actually rounded it to this integer type. That's because we are calculating on in this integer type. So see the next multiplication sign allowing us to do the next multiplication we want to do. So let's say we want to add another 7, you see, so 49 times 7. Then if you hit the multiplication sign again and then changes it to 343, because 49 times 7 will give us 343, and then add another multiplication sign at the back. So that's basically what we are trying to achieve. So you can see that working. So let's try that with a different sign. So let's say 5 minus, so we call this, so 5 minus, so we have an error. So 5 minus or any other sign is not going to show up. That's because like I said, we are having a way to increase this sign count. Like, let me explain. So we have a variable here we call sign counts. So this sign count is basically keeping track of how many times we tapped on the sign button. So let's say we tapped on the sign button twice, so this sign count will increase to 2. That's why over here, if you head over here, you can actually see that working. So we are saying if sign count is less than 1, go ahead and add only 1 sign at the screen. So there's no point in time we should have 2 signs showing up in the screen. So that's what we are doing here. But we should be able to know that we should be able to remove this sign count and reset it to 0 whenever we clear the screen, or whenever we remove we delete any digit from the screen. So whenever we tap on this button or this button, and also or this button, we should be able to reset the sign count to 0. So let's go ahead and fix that. So to do that, I'm going to use this sign count, figure out places that we need to reset this. One should be, like I said, one of them should be at the clear button when we tapped on the clear button. So let's take a look and see where we have the clear button showing up. So I can actually see that right here. So you see the clear button we need to set sign count to 0. So that's all we need to do here. That's all. We don't need to do any other stuff. So we just need to look for, yeah, so set sign count to 0. And next basically will be the delete button. So let's take a look. So this is the delete button. So whenever we're trying to delete something, we should be able to set the sign count to 0, but I'm going to copy this whole code because we need it. Yeah, copy the whole stuff and replace what we have in our mobile calculator view. So that should be over here. The delete button we have right here at the moment. Just replace the whole code that we have inside the function. This is saying get inputs. So we had a function. We need to create a function called get inputs. Yeah, so this is basically a function. Yeah, so we paste this and go ahead and save what we have. Try this again. So this should be able to work right now. So if you go ahead and say 7 times 7 times 49, so give us 49 times 7 times, round it up, times 7 times, keep on doing that until we are kind of like exhausted and we said okay, we have gotten the right answer. So kind of when you clear this, so let's go ahead and try 5 minus, you can actually see the minus sign is now being added, minus 2. Then if you tap on minus sign again, you're going to see 5 minus 2 is actually 3. Yeah, 3. So that will give us 3. So if you go ahead and say, you see the minus sign again, let's say 3 minus 1, that should be 2. You see that? And then 2 minus whatever we want to do. So we can actually go ahead and delete this. We don't want this again. We want to say 2 plus 2. You see how that's working? And if you hit the plus sign again, it's going to give us 4 plus, but we don't want to do the addition again, so we're going to delete the addition sign and say 4 multiply 2. If you tap on the multiplication sign, you're going to see 8 and showing us the multiplication sign. Let's say I don't want to do the multiplication sign also, or the multiplication calculation right now, so I'm going to delete the multiplication sign and replace that by division. So I'm going to say 8 divided by 2. If you tap on the division sign again, you're going to see 4.0. Okay, so let's say I don't want to do the multiplication sign again. I'm going to delete this and then run this over to percent. So that should give us 0.04. So that's cool. So we are heading somewhere. Yeah, we are able to actually fix this particular bug. Like I've been seeing everyone complaining on the TikTok and also on Instagram, on LinkedIn, that needs to be fixed. So yeah, right now we are able to fix that and can be able to share this again so that everybody will see that we fixed it. So that's the second stuff we had to do today. So we're able to complete that. So let's move over to the next stuff. The next stuff we'll be doing right away will be adding the questions game. So let's go ahead and build the questions game for the mobile. Like I said, we already have that showing up on the desktop, but we need to actually have that to work on mobile too. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, I'm going to copy over this class. These classes, we already have class question, and we have question answered, and yeah, question answers. So I need to copy this over. So let's copy this over. Because that will help us to do the question. Like this is basically a model that I created. So whenever we are asking a question, this is how our questions will look like. Our question will have a question, it's going to have an answer, and it's going to have an answer value. I'm going to show you basically the answer value is the answer in a number type, and this answer here is going to be maybe the answer in a number type with a test. So that's basically what this is going to be. and then we are going to have question answered. So whenever the user answers a question, we are going to create another model, push it inside a list that's going to contain the questions the user answered, and we're going to check if the user won, maybe they answered the question on time, or if they are doing a competition with someone online. So we're going to check maybe the other person is won the game before them. So those are what we're going to do later on, but for now we are going to be doing this manually. We haven't added the pair side of it. So the pair side of it is whereby we can actually play the game with someone online. So someone living in any different location, we can play the game with the person. But right now we are going to be playing the game with the computer. So that's why we are going to be doing this manually. So yeah, that's it. So let's go ahead and implement the game. So first of all, I won't be writing the whole stuff. I'll be copying the code over, and I'll be explaining what the code is doing, so we can actually speed up the whole development. So over here, so before we do that, let me show you guys again what that looks like on desktop, because like I said, I've already no, shut there. Because I already implemented the game on desktop version of the app, but we need to implement it on mobile version of the app. So I'm going to show you guys what the game looks like on desktop version. So here we go. So you can actually see the desktop is different from what we had previously had before. That's because I did a lot of changes to it and implemented the games and all those stuff. So let's go ahead and play this. So if you tap on display, then we pop up and tell you welcome to the calculator game, or this then before it starts up showing us the game to start playing. So you see, calculate the area of a square. That should be 8 times 8, then equal to, you see, it told me that I won the game in 4 seconds. So it shows you another game, calculate the area of a rectangle, and if I didn't do it, you see, it's going to show me the red color telling me that I failed the game. So that's basically what the game is doing right now. Let's go ahead and implement this. And if you want to kind of like cancel the game, and just tap on the equation, is going to cancel the game for us. Yeah, the game will be cancelled. So that's basically how the game is being played on desktop. But we are going to actually get this to actually work on mobile also, to play the game on mobile. So let's close this, head over to get our app to actually work on mobile. So debug on mobile, on without debugging. So our code is actually running, so we just need to wait for this to actually finish up. Yeah, that's almost done. So the first thing we are going to do is basically copy this function. Is called start game. So that function is basically where the whole game functionality lives in, but I'm going to explain what's going on inside the function. There's some cleanup. We actually need to do a lot of cleanup inside the function. So there we go. Paste the code that we just copied right over here. Go ahead and delete these unwanted comments. We don't need them. So basically go ahead and delete every single one of them. Delete all this. So you're gonna see this, but underline, because that's basically we are missing some stuff. So leave it that way for now. And let's see what else we need to delete. So I'm gonna delete this. Go ahead and delete what we have showing up here. And there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix this lines showing up here. The first step to that is basically importing this package. If you are wondering, the package we are using for the pop-up, so the package we are using for the pop-up is called top snack bar. I'm going to show you guys. So you can actually use the same package if you want. Sure. So this is the package we're using. Yeah, so this is the package for the pop-up that's showing up on the screen. And you guys already know how to install Flutter packages. Just go to the installing part, copy this code. And I already installed this, so I'm not going to install it again, but for those of you that want to install it, so copy the code, head over to your terminal and paste the code right here, then hit the enter key. This will install the code for you. Basically install the package, not the code, but it's still the same. Installing the package, installing the code, that's still the same. So yeah, there we go. Let's go ahead and import this. Custom input is in a class. Yeah, so we need to import that also. Local animations, so that's not been found, so we need to import that. Copy the code from here for now, and also a list of questions that we'll be asking the users. I created that also, so that we don't need to be doing that by ourselves. So we're going to copy the whole stuff and paste it in here. So right now we already have list of questions that we want to ask the users. If you look at the questions, you see that the question has a question test and also has an answer as a test, right? And also has an answer as a number. So that's how the question is being structured, and that's from the model that we created right here. If you could remember the question model we created right here, and yeah, that's it. So basically, let's see if there's other stuff we need to fix before running the code to show up. And we need to add a timer, and then we need to add a stopwatch. I'm going to show you guys how to use a timer and a stopwatch in Flutter. And we need to add these variables also. So let's copy those variables over. So let's see, we have copy the whole stuff and just change the stuff we don't need. Then head over to the mobile section. I'm going to paste the code right below here. Some of these we already added, so I'm going to delete it so not to have duplicate of the same code. So we already have this icon sign, so basically delete that. And we need to import timer. Mine is called timer2, so I'm going to import the timer from data async, and that's from the Flutter package for working with basically data asynchronous functions from Flutter itself, Flutter teams. Then we have the sign count. We already added that, so we just basically go ahead and delete this one. And also we have the calculated value. We already have these two, so go ahead and delete them also. And then we delete this. And also, most important, also make sure that you are calling timer.cancel in your dispose function, and also calling stopwatch .stop in your dispose function, because we are using timer from Flutter and we are using stopwatch from Flutter. So basically, Flutter has this given to us, stopwatch and timer. So they are basically different stuff, but there's different ways to use them. But I'm going to show you basically what they do. But if you kind of like think about it, you already know what stopwatch is basically all about. So stopwatch is a kind of like a timer that you actually add, and then you can actually start counting. The stopwatch start counting based on start from milliseconds or microseconds and start counting until you stop the stopwatch from counting. And it's going to tell you how many seconds or minutes it have counted so far before you stopped it. So that's basically what stopwatch does. With timer, basically timer, we can use timer to actually schedule stuff to run, maybe with different durations. So we want a code to run in every 5 seconds, or you want a code to run in every 2 seconds or 1 second or something like that. You use timer for that and not a stopwatch. Stopwatch is different. So that's kind of like a clear differentiation between them. But we are going to see how that works. So over here with our code in our start game, we have the show snack bar that's going to show the user the first introduction to the game, and we are having a timer. We are creating a timer that is going to be called every 7 seconds. So basically what we are doing, we want to keep on showing the user different questions every 7 seconds. We call the timer kind of like calls periodic. So yeah, if you're using timer.periodic, so that basically you want to call a timer every durations, depending on the duration you want to call it. Over here, we are saying the duration is going to be every 7 seconds. This timer will get called and a new question will be shown to the user and the previous question will be removed from the screen. So that's what we are doing. And whenever we show the user a question, we just call timer.stopwatch.start. So we'll set the previous stopwatch from the previous question and we start a new stopwatch to start counting the how long it took the user to answer the question, or how long it took the user not to answer the question. So that's basically what we are doing with the stopwatch. So let's see this in action. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Yeah, go ahead and save all this stuff. But right now we need to add a function, a button that will actually help us to get the stopwatch to work. So I'm going to copy the function button from our desktop UI. Already added the button somewhere here, so I'm going to copy it over. So this is the button called, yeah. So I'm going to copy this code, and we're going to see what the button looks like on mobile. So this should be added somewhere. What did we do? Yeah, above, yeah, this one. So let's paste the code and then we save this. I see the button is showing up here, but that's not where we wanted it to show up. So we need to actually fix this. The rights, I'm gonna say 3.2. What about 3.1? What about 2.8? Let's leave it at 2.9. And then increase the top. So let's say 1. What about 1? Let's say 0.8. 0.9. 0.01. Okay, let's leave it at this. So you can actually remove this. Let's keep it at 40, or let's say 45 most. Yeah, so we are just trying to make this to be in the same line. Since we got that to actually be on the same line, so all we need to do whenever you want to play the game, you need to tap on this. But right now we need to remove this called mouse region. So you don't need mouse region on a mobile screen. So on a mobile platform, this mouse region doesn't work. It only works on desktop and web. So basically remove that, remove this widget. If you go ahead and restart the app, and let's go ahead and test this. So play, and you see the game showing a pop-up, welcome to the calculator game. You have to calculate the numbers, and so this is not actually showing us the whole stuff, but you can actually see calculate the area of a square given side ACM. And if you are not fast enough, the game changes every 7 seconds and kind of like tells you are wrong. You say time is up, you got it wrong. Once you get something right, it's going to show us a green color and tell us how we got it right and all those stuff. So yeah, that's it for the game. So but we need to actually change some stuff. You can actually see most of the game is being cut off. The text is being cut off, so we don't need the text to be cut off from the screen. So let's see how to fix those. But before we do that, let's try to play the game. Before playing the game, I'm going to set the game to actually take a longer time to show up and to go out. So I always say the game should take us 8 seconds. Yeah, 8 seconds to change the games, or let's say 9 seconds. Let's leave it at 8 seconds to change the games. And also we want to actually delete the games at every 2 seconds to delete the previous game after 2 seconds, or let's say after 4 seconds delete the previous game. I think that should work. That should be better. So if you go ahead and save this, restart this, and let's run the game again. So this will actually wait over here for at least 4 seconds before going out, and it kind of like allows us to read through what we want. But like I said, we need to actually make this to be visible enough. And yeah, you see the equation: calculate the area of a square given 8 cm. So 8, okay, this is actually pretty fast. I think we are doing something wrong. Delay this for at least a second. Delay this for a second, and then have the timer run every 8 seconds. Okay. Okay, so let's save this and try this again. So we wait for this to finish up, and then we could get it to answer the question. So basically the first question is basically how to calculate it. Yeah, so 8 times 8 is equal to 64. So that's the area of a square given the ACM. You see, we got the equation right, so it shows up that we got the equation right. But it's actually pretty fast, that we couldn't actually see what we are supposed to see. But in that case, what we need to do, and also if you take a look, you can actually see, let's stop the game. You could actually see that this is blocking the text from the view, that we couldn't actually see what we are typing in inside the screen. To be able to fix that, we need to bring this down a bit instead of at the way up top here. So let's bring this down a bit. Let's see. So if you guys could remember, there's one way to actually do this. From the onset, we are having this. So these are basically our display. The display section is basically this code right here using a column. Inside the column we have a row. The first row is for the questions that we are adding. The second item inside the column is the text that needs to show us the answer to the questions, but we need to push this down a bit. So how to push that down, we are going to use a size box. So a size box, we can actually say from the top, padding from the top, instead of 90, we could just say padding for the top should be 130. Let's see what that looks like. That's down a bit. Let's increase this. So let's say 160. What about 180? I think this should be good. Yeah, should leave it this at this point. So if you go ahead and start this, and if you go ahead and show the game, and if you keep on typing stuff, 8 times 8, you see, you can actually see what you're typing, and when you hit the equal to sign, you see, yeah, this shows up. But we got the first question right, so we already know what the first question will be, so that should be correct here. Time this up. Yeah, so that's it. So next stuff will be to actually figure out how to make this to actually delay a bit before showing us the next question, because this is actually pretty fast. It's a really good question that stays for a long time, but the answers kind of like goes out pretty quite fast. So let's see why that is happening. Start the game, shows us a snack bar, top snack bar, and we are saying if we remove the previous one, show a top snack bar, persistent should be true. let's see if we're gonna maybe add another delay or increase the delay a bit. Let's run this. So let's wait for this to actually go out. All right, so the first question, let's wait, let's leave it to fail, so we don't want to answer, so we failed it. Yeah, that's working fast right now. That's cool. And at least we have some time to take a look at our answer and see if we got the answer correct. But we can actually improve this more. Yesterday time that it kind of becomes pretty very fast. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look. Okay, yeah, I think we are good to go. I think that's cool for now, but we can go ahead and actually optimize it a bit more, but I think we are going to leave it this way. And if you leave this will actually keep on going through the whole questions until it's done. When it gets to the last questions, it's going to kind of like cancel the whole timer. So that's basically at this point. If you take a look inside our game function, when it gets to the last question, which we are doing right here, is basically going to cancel our timer. And the last question is basically area of a regular polygon, and I think that should be it. Okay, we have the area of a regular polygon again. Okay, we have one here, we have one here. That's cool. You see that once the last question is hit, it will just basically cancel the whole game and goes out. And if you want to play the game again, just tap on this and start playing the game for the second time. I think that should be it. I don't think there's any other stuff we need to add. Yeah, I think, yeah. So one stuff you can actually add, like I say, if you tap on this, we couldn't see the test is being hidden, so I'm going to stop this so the game will not continue. So let's see how to fix that. So over here, this is our snack bar that's showing up. Let's see if we can actually increase the width a bit. And let's say 8 times 8 is equals to 64. So if we increase the width, so it should at least get to this point. Cancel this. So let's see if we can actually do that. So there we go. Okay, there's no way to actually increase the width in here, or the height, basically the height or the width of the card. We did have a shard, trying to show a shard, snackbar.info. So snackbar.info, let's see if this has a width also. So message padding has a message padding icon if you want to add an icon. Okay. Test style, we could actually work on that to fix that. So we can actually give our own test style, reduce the font a bit. I think that should work. And it's saying the max line. I think we have to work on the max line and then on the test size. I think those two should be able to help us there, the max line and the test size. So let's say over here, in here, let's start with the test style. Font size, let's leave the font size at 12, and then we have the max line. Let's leave the max line as 5. If you go ahead and save this, try tapping on this again. So that works. You can actually see the whole test showing up, but it's kind of quite tiny. a bit. Let's increase this. I'm going to stop the game. Increase this to 13. I think that should be good enough. Okay, welcome to the calculator game. You have calculator, calculate the numbers. 1 2 3 wait a second. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, because we added the max line should be 5. Let's say the max line should be 7. Okay, that's cool. 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, and you will lose the. Okay, this is no longer showing up for some reason. Let's reduce the test size. Let's leave it at 12. Yeah, I think this is okay, so the user can be able to read this. Welcome to the calculator game. Good luck. List through the whole stuff, and then we have the questions popping up. But let's cancel the game for now. And for the questions popping up, we still need to fix those ones. And I will say the max line for each of those questions. And let's go ahead and copy what we have here for the previous one, and then do some little bit change. Some little changes on it. So I'm gonna copy this. So we copy this, head over to the questions. Not the questions, but basically the pop-up for the questions. We need to tweak the design a bit. So normally it should be constant. Normally our font size is 16, but I'm going to reduce the font size to at least 14 and make this to have a max line of 7, or let's say we have the max line of 3. I think that should work. And if you go ahead and save this and then hit on this, so let's see the questions and how that looks like. So we are trying to be able to see the full question and not cropped out. We don't want the questions to be cropped out. So yeah, so the first question, okay, that's cool. We're able to see the full question. So the answer, we need to fix that. Okay, the second question is actually full. You can see the full question. I think it will be good to actually fix both the answers and all those stuff at the same time. Cancel the game. And let's go ahead and work on those ones also. Copy the max line that we have here and use that on the stop snap bar that we actually have right here, and also do the same to what we actually have right here also. And you go ahead and save this. And if you go ahead and start the game again, so actually we have to wait. We'll actually see. Okay, the question is okay. Yeah, the question and answers is actually showing up quite good. Yeah, so it's no longer being cropped out, so the whole stuff is showing. You can see that. You can actually see that taking shape. But let's see what the answers looks like. So let's answer one question. So this should be 8 times 8. We already know what the first question should be. That's what I'm putting on the whole answers. I can actually see that square of area of a square, 8 cm is the side given formula, and you see good. But that's actually been clocked also, so that means I have to increase this a bit for the answer. So if the answer is true, so that the user got the answer right, so I have to say max line should be 4. Restart the game, try this again. I already know the first question should be 8 times 8, which should give us 64 as the answer. So let's wait for this to actually show us up. So you can actually see the same question. Okay, that's showing up quite good. Yeah, so I think that's good for now. There's nothing else we need to worry about that we are not doing quite right. So I don't think there's any other stuff that we need to fix. yeah, guys, that's the questions. That's the game so far. So that's how the game is being played. What you guys are going to expect from the game. Um, at the moment. So we got the whole stuff fixed, and we got the whole stuff working quite good the way we want it. Except there are some changes we need to do. We'll be doing maybe in the next streams or thereabout. But for now, we are able to actually play the games. And like I said, I'll be actually be releasing the code, and also be hosting the web version on either AWS, or I'll be using GitHub, not GitHub. Yeah, I can use GitHub to host Flutter Web, or AWS, or basically Firebase also to host the Flutter Web. And the mobile apps and desktop app, we figured out how to actually add them on Apple Store, Linux store, and also on Windows store for everyone to download. For the mobile apps, that should be on Android, Google Store, and on iOS store. So yeah, I think that's other stuff we can actually do later on. But for now, we have the game working. But there's whole stuff we can actually do that I've already listed out. But that will be in our next stream. We'll be trying to figure out how to allow the user to add their own questions. So right now we are already hard coding the questions by ourselves, but that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't look fun. We want to be able to allow the user to actually add their own questions, and then change the durations for the questions. So the user can tweak the durations, add their own questions. The users can be able to also play with someone online. So we also need to add those functionalities. So there's a whole bunch of stuff we can actually add to improve the app. So we'll be doing that from other upcoming streams that we'll be having. Yeah. And also, like I said, the most important stuff we're going to fix is to fix the whole code structure. Like our code base is actually messy at the moment, and the code structure is not quite good. And that's because we are just trying to get stuff done and get stuff to work at the moment. But it's actually quite important if you're working on a big code base, or if you don't want to get confused when you come back to a code base later in the future. Is quite okay to actually spread the whole code into different structures, organize your code in a good, using a good architectures and all those stuff to know what this does or this does. Yeah, also, yeah, that's basically what we need to actually do. I think we'll actually do some bit of it. Let's see if we have more time to explore that section. And yeah, one more stuff we actually need to add is the drawer. So the drawer will help us to, we have the user to actually do other stuff like seeing the code and all those stuff. So we need to add a drawer for the mobile also. Tomorrow we'll be implementing how to add questions, how the user can add their own questions inside the drawer. So that's what we are trying to add the drawer right now. So the mobile UI should have this icon showing up here. So the icon should be showing up somewhere here. I'm gonna say the top 01. This should be 45. And after that, from the left should be 20, let's say 30. Save that. Okay, so let's increase that a bit. Say 36. Okay, let's say 26. About 22. About 18. Yeah, I think that's okay. So this basically, when you tap on this should open a drawer for us. But we need to add the code for the drawer. Right now the drawer is already showing on desktop, so there's a drawer code. So I'm going to copy this also and add it on mobile. That's the drawer, copy that, and then add a drawer inside here. So I'm going to say body, not body, that should be drawer. No. Drawer, and paste the code that we just copied. And for us to add a drawer, should make the parent non-constant and make this to be constant. If you go ahead and save this, and if you tap on this should open a drawer for us, so that's cool. So over here, the reason why we are adding the drawer, we want the user to be able to add their own questions, edit their own questions, and set up the speed for the questions and for durations of questions. So we want to be doing that starting from our next streams. So that's why we are adding the drawer at the moment, so we won't forget that. Yeah, if you tap on this, see the drawer displays it. So the drawer is also available on desktop, and we need to also add the drawer to be available on web. So that's can actually fix that here by saying drawer, pasting the code for the drawer, and now the drawer will be available on web also. I think that's it for today, except need to show you guys I don't know if we have much time, so I implemented a because I told you, like I said, I want us to actually move all our code base and the functionality for the calculator. I want to move it out from the UI, so I don't want the functionality for the calculator to be inside the UI. I want to move it separately to a separate class using provider to be able to manage the states and then display the whole value on the UI whenever the UI needs the value to be exposed to the user. So that's what we are doing right here. So I'm using provider as a package, and I'm using change notifier and a class called calculator state. And inside this calculator state, we'll be having every single numbers that's been typed in the screen inside here, and we're going to have the sign also. The calculated value is calculated. So this is basically what I've done so far, but we are going to be doing more of this. I'm trying to move the whole functionality out of the UI and move it in here. So far we are able to add all tests, be able to add all tests, clear all tests, remove last test. So that's what I'll be able to do so far. And if you take a look at the main.dat, so this is how to use multiple provider. So multiple provider allows us, where is that again? Yeah, main.dat. So you have multiple provider where we are creating team state. So we have a provider for our team state, for managing our team state. We also have not multiple, yeah, we also have calculator for managing our calculator state. So yeah, those are what we have so far. So if you take it so far, it's kind of like already implemented on the web. So this is actually working on web at the moment, and we can actually test that out because I implemented it on web, and you can actually see consumer. I'm using consumer on web to consume the state from our change state class for the calculator. And if I stop this and run this on web, you can actually see that running. But the whole point of it is that when we are done with the whole stuff, we should be able to utilize it for every different platform and not only on web. I'm just testing it out on web to basically see how that works on web, then be able to transfer it to the other part of the code base, or basically our app. So let's wait for this to actually run the web version. So this should be it. It's let's see, run this again. For some reason, okay, yeah, there we go. So there's the whole web version. So if you tap on this, like I said, we are no longer using custom states. You see I removed this from the UI, so we no longer need it because I moved it to the state class, which is over here. Then if you tap on any of this, you see that still showing up on the screen, even though we moved it to the state. So that's what we have been able to experiment so far. You see the signs also been added. But once you tap on the equal to sign, nothing shows up because I'm still using this right here. So we need to move this to also the calculated states. Let's see if we can actually be able to move this before we kind of like call it a date for today. So for the whole equal to, when the user taps on the equal to sign, so this is the functionality that we need to do. So this is how we are calculating the whole function, the whole code. When the user taps on the equal to sign, I will need to move this functionality out of here and move it into our calculator state. What did I do? What happened? Yeah, move it inside our calculator state. So I will need to copy this, and it should be right all the way to here. Yeah, copy that, remove the whole stuff, the whole code that we have from there. So this should be empty at the moment until we're able to fix this. So right here, I'm going to create another function, and the function is going to be called is a void function, void, and I'm going to say calculate. Calculates, yeah, basically call it calculate. And in there, I'm going to paste the code I just copied over with some changes that we need to do. So the first change that we need to do, basically have this calculator state, we don't need it anymore here. We're going to use the all test on its own. So we already have a way to get the all test value, and this is actually returning the test for us. And then we have this stuff we are printing here, test to calculate and all those stuff. We need to remove this at the moment. We don't need to check it again. And next we have this calculate function that we have in here. So we need to actually be able to get this function. Wait a second. Okay. So we need to call this a different calculate to2. So I'm going to call this calculate to2. So name is something like calculator to2. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. And then we need to bring this particular function inside, and we don't need the set state anymore. We need to remove the set state. So let's run this. Get the calculate function in here. So this is the calculate function. Move it out of this, move it in here also. There we go. And we need to actually import most of this. And, okay. This should be num type, not double. No, put the same here. Is any other stuff? So this should be num, and this should be num. I think we are good to go. And have to make this private. Okay, there you go. So we already have that. So next is to be able to change this calculated value that we have here to actually resemble updated value. So this should be remove the set state. Like I said, we don't need the set state anymore. And calculated value, which is basically private field. Okay, this can be used as a setter because it's actually final. So we need to remove the final keyword at the back. Then it's calculated, so also the same is calculated. Remove the final keyword at the back, so we can be able to update it. There you go. And this calculated value should be of type num, not double. Num. Okay, let's see if there's any other stuff. Just get a type of type num. Okay, that's all we need to update in there, and the user could be able to use this. So I'm going to call notify listeners at the end to notify every listener there's actually a change that went on. So if I save this and then go ahead and replace wherever we changed any of these. So there's the function. First of all, the equal to sign, whenever we are on the equal to part, so we need to get that call that function that we just removed right now in there. And this is how to call a function using provider, using the context, read the state, and then update the function in there. So I go set this, and this is not the function we want to call. We want to call the calculator function, calculator to function in here. Once that is called, we need to update the whole value, the whole UI, to make use of the calculated value. And as at this point, I need to remove this, and I'm going to say calculator state dot calculated value. There you go. Go ahead and save this. So go ahead and save this. Go ahead and save this. Yeah, so we saved that. Next stuff we can actually do is, because this is going to throw some errors, so I'm going to go ahead and delete this. We don't need this anymore. And also we don't need is calculated anymore, since we're getting that from our states. Like I said, it's going to throw some errors, so we're going to say we're going to get this is calculated basically from our states itself. I'm going to say calculator state dot is calculated. Let's see if there's other place we needed it. Okay, we actually needed them on multiple places, so let's start. I'm going to change this to say calculator state dot calculated value. So this will throw us an error, and also this will throw us an error because we don't have a way to actually update those states at the moment. So if I save this, if we save this and go ahead and test this out, so let's say 78 plus 78, and once you tap on the equal to sign, this should be able to show us some calculated value here, but for some reason that's failing. We need to figure out why that's happening. Okay, sign has not been initialized. Okay, I see. So let's update this. Because this is what we need to update, which is basically the sign value right here. Right now it's saying that this has not been initialized, and that's why it's showing the error that we are seeing right away. But yeah, we'll be continuing with this because I'm already above our streaming time, which are scheduled for today, but we'll continue with this hopefully tomorrow. I'll be right here live trying to complete the whole sections of making our code reusable, making our code dry, and moving the whole functionality to a different class that will handle the whole kind of like a class will work as a brain to our calculator. So yeah, that's what we are trying to do right away. But we continue with that tomorrow, like I said, and hopefully to see everyone tomorrow also. Yeah, if you have any questions, just drop me some drop your questions in the comments, or yeah, on my social media, Instagram, TikTok, or LinkedIn. I'm everywhere. Just hit me up. I'm going to answer your questions. And yeah, that would be it for today. We just continue tomorrow. So everyone, have a nice day. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, if this is your first time watching live, please do subscribe to the channel. Subscribe so that we could be able to get this going. Hit the subscription button and also the bell icon button also. So have a nice day, everyone. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah.